Thank you all for coming. We're going to focus today on health, active transportation and land use planning, and the opportunities and challenges and the next steps that come with that. My name's Chris Rissell. I'm a Professor of Public Health at the University of Sydney and the Director of the new New South Wales Office of Preventive Health. This is a ministerial commitment to prevention in New South Wales, and one of our primary focuses is obesity prevention, but we'll have a broader remit in terms of the prevention of chronic diseases. We work very closely with the Ministry of Health, and some of you will know from my background that I have a particularly keen interest in active travel and the way that it applies to health, and that I see this as a potential paradigm shift for health to get into a prevention space that's so much different from how we've been in the past in clinical service delivery. And the role for prevention and health can be greatly enhanced. So the role for health in our conversations about transport and land use planning are integral in terms of the way I see prevention in New South Wales. It's a challenge, however, to bring that to fruition in the programs that we're funded to run. And so I'm looking forward with interest today about how we discuss these issues. I'd like to formally commence the forum today by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land upon which we're meeting, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to elders past and present. I'd like to acknowledge our special guests, the Hon Kevin Humphries, Minister for Healthy Lifestyles, who in a moment I'll invite to make the opening welcome, Dr. Karen Lee, who's our keynote speaker from New York City, and Tony Thirlwall, the CEO of the Heart Foundation, who along with the New South Wales Council, Premier's Council for Active Living, have funded Dr. Lee's visit to New South Wales. So thank you and welcome. So we've got a bit of a mixed bag in terms of the participants here. We're coming from health and transport and planning and all sorts of things. I'm kind of interested in terms of what the distribution might be, and you may have a hand up more than once on this score, but who could put their hand up? Could you put your hand up, please, if you're from the health sector? Okay, so quite a lot, in fact, so we're talking almost half here. Transport? Okay, again, a substantial. Planning? Okay, research? Okay, a bit less, but it's actually quite an even distribution across all the sectors. And I noticed some people put their hands up more than once, so that's interesting. And a practitioner? Any practitioners? How would you call yourself as a practitioner? Yeah, a few. Yeah, but we're all practitioners, aren't we? Yeah. Okay, and if you haven't already noticed, there is a packet on your seat, which is a bunch of materials from the Premier's Council for Active Living and the Heart Foundation. And if you would like more copies of these resources, then certainly come to the bench and talk to us about getting more copies. So today we're going to run it as the forum will be structured in a way that we'll have Dr. Lee start with her keynote address. And then we'll have a number of local presentations talking about different aspects of land use planning and objectives. We're particularly interested in looking at the example of New York City because, sometimes many of us look to the European cities as exemplars of active travel and cycling and things like that. But in fact, there's many more, sometimes more similarities with the American cities about how they've been designed and how our cities have evolved to follow some of their ideas. And so the example from North America is actually particularly relevant for us in many ways. So I look forward to talking a bit more about the design of the city neighbourhoods and the transportation networks and public spaces. And then we'll have a few examples of local New South Wales work, and we'll then follow up at the end with a forum where we'll ask the panel members some difficult questions. So now I'd like to commence proceedings, and I'd like to invite the Hon Kevin Humphries, the Minister for Healthy Lifestyles, to formally welcome everyone to today's forum.
Thank you, Chris, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here on such an important symposium and forum, and I'd too like to acknowledge elders past and present. I'd also like to acknowledge Tony Thirlwall. Tony's here somewhere. Where are you hiding, hopefully? He's not. He's up the back. And we've got an important function coming up for Tony too, and that's to recognise the important work that not only the Heart Foundation's done, the New South Wales division, but also Tony himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's wonderful to see people from right across the agency. So, Chris, thanks for highlighting that. I think that's important too. I might talk a little bit about some of the work that people like Chris are doing with the Office of Preventative Health as well. But ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for the invitation. I'm pleased to open this forum. But before I do, I'd like to congratulate the Premier's Council for Active Living. We're actually going to expand the remit of that council. It'll become the Premier's Council for Active and Healthy Living. to not only look at the built environment, but also to look at issues around nutrition and some of our food consumption habits as well, and also food supply. I'd also like to thank the National Heart Foundation, particularly the New South Wales Division, for hosting this important initiative. Initially, I'd like to just briefly touch on the New South Wales Government's commitment to addressing the major issue of overweight and obesity levels in the New South Wales population. You won't have to be intimately familiar with the statistics to know that this is a very real issue and that it requires an informed and comprehensive response. However, let me just point out a couple of concerning figures. Since 1997, there's been a significant increase in the proportion of adults who are overweight or obese in New South Wales, from 41.8% to 52.6% in 2013. And in 2010, about one quarter, 22.8% of children between 5 and 17 years of age were classified as overweight or obese. It's no accident that in opposition we decided to set up a Ministry for Healthy Lifestyles. I'm pleased to say that mortality rates, though, from all forms of cardiovascular disease have more than halved since 1988. However, cardiovascular disease still causes around 16,000 deaths and almost 160,000 hospitalisations in New South Wales each year. This is putting an enormous drain on both the health system and the government's bottom line. Lifestyle diseases such as cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes, for which overweight and obesity are key risk factors, cost New South Wales $19 billion in 2008, according to Access Economics. This cost is only going to increase into the future. Just as a side, our health budget demand is on an increase of about 9% a year, which is way ahead of inflation or our ability to draw in income. As a government, we know we need to do more, and we haven't shirked this responsibility. Far from it. In fact, we are leading the nation when it comes to implementing services and programs that are making a real difference to the people of New South Wales. The creation of the first ever Healthy Lifestyles portfolio in New South Wales Government is a clear demonstration of our commitment to preventative health and promoting healthy lifestyles. We're also the first government in New South Wales to specifically target adult obesity. In our state plan, New South Wales 2021, the government has adopted the target of stabilising overweight and obesity rates in adults by 2015 and then target a reduction by 5% by 2020. This will be achieved through a range of initiatives, including, most importantly, the establishment of the Office of Preventative Health, as Chris alluded to before. The Office of Preventative Health is an indication of our commitment to the prevention of overweight and obesity among the people of New South Wales, and will have a statewide focus. The work of the office is building on a strong network of health promotion and public health initiatives that the New South Wales Government has put in place across a number of portfolios. This includes relationships with key non-government organisations, including the Heart Foundation in New South Wales and also the Cancer Council in New South Wales. And it's wonderful to have a lot of those people represented here today. It's no accident that office is also based in southwest Sydney at Liverpool, and it's no accident that it's quite a considered cooperative effort between New South Wales and our federal colleagues of some $120 million. The Premier's Council for Active Living and Healthy Living also has an important role in building and strengthening both physical and social environments to support people in achieving a healthy weight. As many of you would be aware, the Premier launched the new Premier's Council for Active and Healthy Living in June last year. The new council comprises senior representatives from across government, business and the community sector, and has a new chair, former Olympic swimming champion Jeff Hugel. Jeff couldn't be here today, he's not too well, but I hope we didn't damage him too much yesterday, Professor, at our meeting. But we had a chance to meet with the Premier, other key ministers from planning, local government, the environment, transport, myself, but definitely a commitment from the Premier to take action and to continue that action. The new council is designed to support healthier eating environments, incorporate active living into community projects, and increase awareness of the benefits of healthy eating and active living. The new council will focus on issues such as encouraging healthy food consumption and supply, promoting walking as a form of physical activity and active transport, promoting active and safe communities, and encouraging a healthy built environment. I look forward to the Professor's talk about what they've done in New York as well on that. The Premier's Council for Active and Healthy Living has recently progressed a number of key initiatives, including the coordination of stakeholder efforts to incorporate health and wellbeing considerations in the updated New South Wales planning system, working with the development industry to enhance healthy urban design, and collaborating with Transport for New South Wales in the development of the draft New South Wales walking strategy. In 2013, the new council will work in collaboration with other government agencies on a range of nutrition-specific initiatives, including the update of the Premier's Council for Active Living Integrated Planning and Reporting resource to incorporate a healthy eating or a number of healthy eating considerations. There is just an example on that. The 8700 campaign, the Kilojoule campaign, has moved out of the Department of Primary Industries and the Food Authority into PCAL. So PCAL's remit is broadening out just on that front, not from a legislative requirement, but from a regulatory advisory type role. So we see PCAL as being the front face of developing not just design and planning, but stepping into that nutrition space as well. And for some of you that I've known for a number of years, you know I have a few personal issues on that front as well, just in terms of food efficacy. There's a range of significant policy work currently under development that will play a key role in promoting healthy food choices, physical activity and active living, including the development of the New South Wales Healthy Eating and Active Living Strategy. The strategy will be a whole-of-government framework that will establish the policy approaches and programs to promote healthy eating and active living in an effort to prevent overweight, obesity and chronic disease in New South Wales. The strategy will set out the key actions that the New South Wales Government will undertake over the next 5 years to promote the achievement and maintenance of healthy weight. Built environment strategies to support active living involving both Transport for New South Wales and the New South Wales Department of Planning and Infrastructure will be included in the strategy. This morning's program provides a valuable opportunity for the exchange of perspectives between policymakers and local officers in the interests of the integration of health, transport and planning in order to support healthier lifestyles. Thank you for the opportunity to outline to you this morning the New South Wales Government's commitment to progressing built environment strategies to support active living and healthy lifestyles. And I look forward with many of you here today to promote and support healthy eating and active transport to create better health outcomes in New South Wales. So thank you for that opportunity. I'd just like to, Chris, introduce our guest speaker. Is that fine? Or just a little bit of background? Yeah, and as I said, we had the opportunity to meet yesterday with Dr. Karen Lee, with the Premier. And again, I'd like to thank the Heart Foundation for the initiative that's taking place. Another little side issue, which is not in the speech, but the obesity strategy for New South Wales will be the subject of a Cabinet minute, which will be presented, I think, in 2 weeks' time. So that will actually give more credence and direction and remit to where that strategy goes. Some of it I've just outlined in there. Just a quick outline. As I said, we're very lucky here today to have Dr. Karen Lee, and Karen is the head of the Built Environment and Healthy Housing Program at the New York City Department of Health. And I love this, mental hygiene. I've got to talk to you about what mental hygiene means. Conjures up a few interesting thoughts. Now, I'd like to welcome Dr. Lee to Parliament House here today and thank her for her time. And we had the opportunity to hear about some of the impressive work that she's done in New York City yesterday. But among her many achievements, Dr. Lee has overseen the development and implementation of New York City's Active Living Guidelines, a multidisciplinary collaboration between different agencies in New York, in the city, to promote the construction of more supportive environments for healthy, active living. In addition to this, Dr. Lee's program participates in a tax and zoning incentive initiative to promote supermarket development and retention in undeserved neighbourhoods, or underserved I should say, be very deserving, I shouldn't say undeserved, bit of a typo there, very deserving neighbourhoods. in New York City. I've got a few undeserved and underserved communities too out my way. So interesting. Till 3 years ago, I had no quick service restaurants in my electorate, 30% of the state, and no major supermarkets. In fact, west of the Newell, there's not a Coles or Woolworths till you get to Broken Hill. So there's a number of small operative players. And when you mentioned tax incentives for businesses to locate into certain communities, particularly Indigenous-based communities, that's an issue that's quite real for people like myself. So I'm looking forward to Dr. Lee's presentation and her insights, those valuable insights that we might be able to take on board here in New South Wales. So thank you for coming. Thank you for the collaborative effort that is coming together on this front. And I look forward to Dr. Lee's presentation. Thank you, everyone.